sounds so much better. Yo. Okay. So the good things in my life at the moment. On the kind of broad life level, I'm a final year medical student, which was a dream in a way. 5, 6, 7 years ago, there was a point where I thought, I want to be a doctor. And it was something that I had no investment in. It's grown into this thing which has completely taken over my life. If you'd asked me 5 or 6 years ago, I would have said that there is nothing more that I want in my life than to be a final year medical student about to start as a doctor. When you get asked why you become a doctor or why you chose medicine at interviews and at work or in a professional context, the answer is always some variation on liking being around people, wanting to solve interesting, complex problems, liking pressure, wanting to meet people, wanting to feel important. Wanting to be surrounded by intelligent, empathetic people. I think it's very, very difficult to say now because I'm 5 years into it and my entire outlook has changed. I spent a lot of time thinking whether this was the right thing for me. The baseline level of how I kind of experience my life is always the same, regardless of what the external circumstances are, whether I'm doing well, whether I'm doing badly. Internally, on the most fundamental level, I'm basically always the same. And it's kind of a mild state of a disinterest, boredom, a huge amount of boredom, I would say. I think boredom probably predominates. By all measures, I should be very, very stimulated and excited, but I'm bored. I'm bored a lot of the time. I think something very strange happens when you spend so much time on one thing, which I guess you have to do when you're doing medicine. The thing starts to take over your identity. When you fixate on something, which medicine really, really forces you to do, you kind of have to spend all of your time and thought, especially if you want to be a good doctor. I mean, you could be a shoddy one, but if you want to be a good doctor, you have to dedicate yourself. But the downside is that it consumes your personality and identity, and you can't leave it at work. It's just not possible. The person that you are on the wards seeps into who you are outside. When you spend hours and hours a day reading about biochemical pathways and the management of diabetes and how MRI works, that's who you become. You become a very analytical person. That outlook starts to dominate everything, and so your personal life is consumed by it. You start to wear bland clothes. Being interesting stops mattering because all you really care about is, oh well, what's the diagnosis? Here are 3 or 4 symptoms, how many differentials can I come up with? And that's an issue because I like my identity, I like who I was, I like the experiences that I've had outside of medicine. Difficult sacrifice to make because you're essentially giving up your identity to assume the identity of a doctor. And there is no grander, bigger, more fundamental sacrifice. What do you show who I expect the audience to be for this? Is this a way for me to collate my thoughts so that I can watch them back and preserve them?